honest. The difference between Japanese and American wrong is night and day because, like, the Japanese wrong is a righteous commander of arms microns, and pretty sure also has the therapy aspects. But then, like, wrong is basically, my OC, please don't steal. Like, what the hell? This is weird. Like, like, okay, so you're a therapist, and I don't have anything against therapists, but your whole gimmick is you're a therapist, but you're also their god. So technically, you're just doing their job. But then there's a major plot hole because when they die, they go to your spark. So where do they go? Because there's nowhere for them to go since you are out there just chilling, so they have no one to meet and no one to even deal with. So there's nothing to cooperate with, and basically you have just destroyed any possibility of there being an afterlife because you couldn't, in your almighty power, you couldn't understand how to avoid a fancy god gun. Are you kidding me? Are you dumb? Like, literally, you led literally all of the Primus Vanguard units against the Spectres, and then all of a sudden you just can't dodge a mind-wiping gun? What? Because, like, the Precursor, like, everything ever is now from the Precursor. So, every version of Primus from the Precursor, and that means that MTMTE Primus is dumb because he led an entire god force, and then, like, once he got reduced or rebooted into a new universe, it was just like, okay, how about I lose all of my cool factor because I'm gonna get hit by a god gun. Even though I was able to literally lead an entire faction of gods against a different faction of gods, while a bunch of different gods were hating my gods, but weren't the gods that we were initially fighting, and now we're also evil gods and our sprue of good gods. And then we have wrong. The fall from grace. From a target master to a god among gods to a creator god, and one of the primary, might I add, to therapist. And I don't have a problem with therapists. I don't have a problem with pacifists. But when it's Primus, the fact that he's a pacifist is dumb. I feel like he should have a G1 Prime personality, where he will only subdue. Death is not necessary unless all other choices are exhausted. And even then, he would probably want to sedate them, not kill them, not cause them irreparable damage, just sedation. Sedation, and that is it. But then he's a pacifist, and you know what? A pacifist therapist, that's a cool concept. But then, when you realize that this therapist is just Primus blown out of proportion, he just. He. There's no flair anymore. That's like making Prime a demigod or a reincarnation of a god. It takes away from his good deeds. And, like, when you think about it, the fact that Prime is a deity in a lot of continuities is dumb because of the fact that he's just supposed to be a soldier. I'm not saying that he's a soldier serving under a different commander. He is a leader, but he is also a soldier. That is his whole thing. There is no, like, oh, I'm a divine god. Like, we have our god transformers and we have our mortal transformers, and then we have our in between. Prime should not be in the in-between. Yes, once he gets the Matrix, he should get imbued with Prime abilities and powers, but he shouldn't just be reincarnated because, ooh, Prime, I want to be a human, and then it's like, ooh. So, like, I don't mind reincarnation and transforms. Like, I love some instances of reincarnation, like how Orion becomes Prime in G1, or how Ariel becomes Alita. Those are good instances of reincarnation. But when it's making a higher being a lesser being who's also just fulfilling their normal day-to-day job, it takes away from everything. Because, oh, a therapist and um like like it takes away from everything. It takes away from any cool factor. It takes away from any interesting factor. It takes away from Primus just being a good guy. Or wrong, sorry. It takes away from everything. Same with Prime. If he has angelic anything, then thing is, that takes away. Because the only times you get anything angelic or godly is when he gets the Matrix. Anything before that, and you're just being dumb. I don't care if you like it. The only time you should get any type of divine ability is because he literally gets the Matrix. There is no, there's nothing else. And Rung is the best example. Rung and TFP Prime are the best examples of reincarnation done horribly wrong. There's nothing even redeeming. Because you take this kind, gracious demigod, who was also described as being the fun, young, lovable, and then you turn him into the blandest version of Prime. The blandest. This makes sociopath, psycho Prime from, like, the Bayverse interesting and have depth. And, like, he's so boring. It's just everything awful about it. And then with Rung, he goes from a target master chosen by G1 to becoming a leader of several gods, to then becoming a leader of several gods again. And then, like, going on this whole little side tangent about so much stuff. And, like, it's just so annoying because, like, any good deed either of these characters do is immediately, like, messed up because, like, there are demigod transformers, there are mortal transformers, there are immortal transformers, there are basic transformers, there are god transformers. That's all fine. But Prime shouldn't be one of them. Prime should just be a guy. Prime should just be able to be a guy and be a happy guy. He should be able to be a guy and be understood as a guy. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, literally every continuity that is even slightly based off of TFP is like, oh, he's a reincarnation. Oh, he's like picked by a god or whatever. Like, no, he's picked by the Matrix. The Matrix was like, hey, dude, here you go. And, like, I'm pretty sure Rung in the Arms Microns comics in Japan are literally just like, huh, well, here's an Arms Micron. Deal with it. Hope you enjoy. We worked really hard on this. Please like us, please. So, like, it's so annoying. Rung's whole existence is annoying. Every single second I hear about him is annoying. Like, okay, Generation Select special comic. Rung was one of the many man-made selective robots produced on a future Earth using Engelmois energy. In 2050, Rung realized his kind were little more than slaves and petitioned Megatron of the Cybertron Alliance for assistance, comparing the plight of the Selectors to the ancient Cybertrons who overthrew the Quintessence creators. Not long afterwards, the Decepticons assisted Rung and the other Selectors. They rose up against humanity. Like, that is such a cooler general concept. Like, oh, hey, the Selectors, like, kind of were like a whole bunch of slaves, and then they rose together, and their main leader is a therapist. Like, dude, that is such a cooler concept than, oh, I'm reincarnated, so I'm automatically cooler because I'm reincarnated from your god, so I'm automatically amazing. Like, no, you suck, and you should die. And, like, also, like, another reinterpretation I don't like that isn't really on the subject of reincarnation is Roller. Now, I love G1 Roller. I love this stupid little worthless piece of shit. I love him. I absolutely adore him. But then we go to IDW, and then everything is just ruined. Because why does he have a head? Why does he have eyes? Why does he have arms? Why does he have legs? Why does he have anything? Why is he normal Transformer size? I would be fine if he were like a Selector or an Arms Micron or a Minicon, but he doesn't even look like the dude. And before he makes the statement, oh, but you're hypersexual and he implied that people had sex inside of him. Okay, it's a dirty joke. Just because a character makes a dirty joke doesn't mean it's good. And also in the Unite Warriors / Legends manga, after Prime died in the Unicron War, Roller was trapped between dimensions and consigned to soul-crushing wandering. His anger and despair as he journeyed created an emotional and malicious energy that attracted his attention of Unicron. His scattershot memories didn't tell much, but he knew he was burning hatred for Prime of the Optimus Prime of the Autobots as part of his plan to avert Galvatron from using his body as a Grand Galvatron. Unicron summoned Roller back to his home universe, um, christening him Wandering Roller and giving him the ability to become a limb for Grand Galvatron. The assembled team was ordered to invade Cybertron so that the planet could serve as Unicron's new body, but Galvatron summarily ignored his request and set out to conquer the planet for himself. And like his whole thing is that he tried to literally kill a dying Optimus. Like, oh yeah, Optimus, you're alive again. Let me kill you. Let me mess you up. And like I like this a lot more than the whole IDW roller, because IDW roller is, as Unicron said, or as Galvatron said, bad comedy. And like, yeah, I know he unites with Prime and they like make amends and stuff in the comic. And I like that. I like that. I like that Roller is small. I like that he turns into his proper um carrier. I like everything about that. I like how he becomes, the hauler for the not the cab, the trailer. And I like how him and the aerial defense drone are like great buddies, and is actually a component of Leader Optimus Prime. Same thing with the trailer and the aerial defense attack unit and a bunch of other stuff. They are all part of Prime, and that's what I love about them. They're all part of Optimus. But then you take that away, and I'm just like, why? Why do we even fucking have this? There's no point. Like, even Star Convoy, who is an upgraded form of Optimus Prime, has a super roller because he loves Roller so much. He cares about Roller. Roller isn't a random soldier. He's part of Prime, and he's Prime's little doofus. but then you like make him a completely different dude who's Prime's friend and also kind of brother figure, and I'm just like, no, Roller should basically be his son, not his brother figure. And why is he silver and orange and green? He looks like a carrot covered in carbon. Meanwhile, Roller has sleek and curvaceous silvers complementing blues, gorgeous black hues on his wheels, and is overall a better design. And like, I like new character interpretations. I love new character interpretations. But sometimes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Because, like, there are plenty of great characters. Like Fix It from G1 got ruined in RID 2015. Or Roller from G1 got ruined in IDW. Or Prime got ruined after the 86 movie because everybody thought that he was a serious dude when really he was just a caring father who was worried about the war. Everybody thought that he was a stoic, cold-sparked killer warrior god. See, I like modern interpretations. Like, I like Ironhide basically being a gunslinging grump. And yes, I know he was that in the original continuity, but like the way it's executed, I like that. But like, I also like the concept of like First Aid basically being a traumatized guy who's basically holding back a psychopathic problem. Or Star Saber basically being a leader of a church. Or Jazz basically just being a jazzier Jazz, or Barricade from the movies, or NBE04 for some reason. And like, I like new interpretations, but sometimes when it isn't broke, don't fix it. And sometimes when it is broke, please, by all means, fix it. Not everything needs to be so new and unique and better. Oh, it doesn't need to be cool. Sometimes it can just be random shit. Roller can just be a random non-transforming drone or a random ass minicon. I don't care, he's a little fucking doofus. He's a fucking doofus, he's a fucking idiot, and I don't mind. I like that he's an idiot. I like that he's a doofus. I like that he has basically nothing to serve except for hauling around a trailer and being buddies with another drone. And you know what? I'm fine with that if we don't get some weird Crimzeek juice slurping idiot. And also, by the way, the whole Crimzeek juice branding is disgusting to me because Crimzeeks are supposed to be technological parasites, not some type of yum yum delish beverage. They are parasites, they are monsters, and they will gladly even kill their own employers just for a laugh. So pray tell me, why are they the main branding of a juice company? Well, thank you for tuning in to my TED Talk. I am glad that I was able to get all of that off my chest. By the way, I prefer Selector Rung over Primus Rung, and yeah, fight me. And yes, I know that in Kiss players, the Crimzeek were on a soda, and were also used by the Auto Roopers, but Crimzeeks can be employed if they get to break stuff. And also, I don't like when. Oh, wait, no. Dreamwave Generation 1 did it, not Kiss players, my bad. Dreamwave Generation 1 did the whole Crimzeek branding thing that I find utterly disgusting. And you're probably like, why am I not getting on Tenketta's case? Because a lot of people make Tenketta fan art, and Tenketta is like basically just a drone wife for Hardhead or whatever. Is not Hardhead, oh god, I forget his name. No, it was Hardhead. his loyal partner Drone, and also heavily implied to be his lover, but that's besides the point. I'm like, Tenketta, I don't mind if Tenketta gets a robot mode, because guess what? They literally don't need to not have an alt mode, or I guess a robot mode, or whatever the hell they want. Because you know what? Tenketta is a cool concept. I like the idea of a female tank transformer that's a drone. Like, what's there not to love? So yeah, some drones getting like rebuilt fan art or like reimaginings. I don't mind that. It's just some characters I don't feel like need to be canonically fixed. Or quote unquote fixed, because like I can ignore if somebody in their continuity and their fan publishing continuity makes like a whole thing where like, oh, so and so character is shipped. I can ignore that because it's not canon. I don't have to care about it. I don't have to like log it into my Primax database. But if it is canon, I need to log it in my Primax database. So then, if I need to, I can look back on it. So I need to log it into my Primax database because guess what? People don't have the common decency to let already great things be great. And like, I don't mind name revamps either. Like, oh, the evil one was renamed to the Fallen, which was then given the official name of Megatronus, and the Fallen was just a corrupt alien. It's like, I don't care, man. I don't give a crap. I just like the name, the evil one. It makes him feel like he's a pyramid of evil. Like he's not just, oh, I'm an evil guy. It's like, oh, this is the evil guy. And like I see plenty of like fan continuities where like roles are swapped, or like, Quintus Prime is the evil Prime, or like some other Prime bears the name of the Fallen, or like whatever. And I don't mind that. I'm not trying to be like, oh, everything has to be G1, everything has to be G1, everything has to be how I want it. But like sometimes you don't have to fix stuff. You don't have to make it cool, like Sniper um Perceptor. Like Sniper Perceptor, you don't need like Perceptor's supposed to be a geeky nerd with a small pistol, not a ginormous sniper rifle and several armaments. That's not Perceptor. Or like TFP Wheeljack, that's not Wheeljack, that's not any semblance of Wheeljack. That's more similar to Downshift than Wheeljack, and frankly, I just headcanon him as being Downshift, because what the hell? And then all of this happens, and like everybody's like, oh, this is the definitive version. I'm like, it's cool in concept, but in execution, it's just overriding a good character. Like, oh, I like whenever I go like, oh, I like, Perceptor, everybody just automatically assumes, oh, it must be MTMT. Or like, oh, I like the Auto Troopers. Everybody's like, actually, it's spelled Auto Troopers. And it's like, I don't mean to sound like I'm like, oh, if it isn't G1, it's awful. But like, Transformers can be such an awful fandom at times. And like, I just want to be able to express, like, I had a friend who was basically like, oh, well, I don't really care about that version, and since I'm, the number one Perceptor fan, I need to, judge this. And I'm like, dude, if you're not willing to like the original, then you aren't the biggest Perceptor fan. You aren't. And then they were like, well, that's rude. And I'm like, okay, well, don't tell me how to write my AU that will not affect you at all. How about that? And then that was also how we kind of fell apart as friends. That was kind of when everything kind of went to poo poo. But you know what? I'm glad it went to poo poo because you know what? This is stupid. And I don't like it. Like, I don't mind when designs changes. I don't mind when concepts change. Like, I like the idea of the Magnus armor. And I like the idea of the load bearers. Now, are they just knockoff pretenders? Of course. Are they knockoffs of headmasters? Of course. Are they knockoffs of pre-existing characters? Of course. But I could enjoy knockoffs while enjoying the original. Like, I like Steve the Viacon, but I know that the TFP Viacons are just crappy purple nameless knockoffs without any personality except for Steve. Specifically Steve. And also that big Viacon, who I think is named like Cupcake or something. I don't fucking know. I don't care about the TFP Viacons. So overall, like, just like I can enjoy knockoffs, but like Minimus Ambus takes away from the whole Prime and white galactic armor because he's like a cool version of Prime. Ooh, blah, 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 blah. It's more like, oh, okay, what, why? Because like I know in like the G1 cartoon, in the G1 commercial, Ultra Magnus had Delta Magnus colors, and in the movie, he didn't have a smaller white robot that looked like Optimus. Those were in newer versions and iterations, and in the toy. And I'm like, okay, I don't mind. Like, I love the sleaze fest that is, like, Bayverse Starscream. I love how monochromatic and disgustingly putrid he looks. I love him for that. And I love Bayverse Brawl because he is a dunce and he can kill people. And that's all Brawn ever wants is to kill people. Or not Brawn, fucking Long Haul, god. I'm getting so angry. And I don't sound angry, but that's because I'm very good at hiding my emotions when I'm not angry at a specific person. But like overall the whole like Long Haul should be able to kill people. Like I love Long Haul. I love Bayverse Long Haul. He gets to kill people. He's my boy. He's my boy. He's my boy. He's my baby. He's my baby. He's my baby.
Wow.
So like I just don't I just overall I like Transformers as a community. I like them. But I am going to be so honest with you. Sometimes Transformers is a pain in the ass. And like I love Transformers as a community. I really do. But I'm tired of all of this toxic bullshit. Let people have their own opinions. And I know that sounds hypocritical from me, but this whole thing is me saying, hey, you can like it, but don't expect me to like it. And I'm also not trying to sound like I'm a G1er. And frankly, I don't like being called a G1er because that frankly feels like a slur to me because I'm just trying to state my opinion about something I like. And just because I keep making it similar to G1 doesn't mean that if it ain't G1 then it's awful. I'm just like, sometimes I like what G1 does. Like, when I saw First Aid with a whole ass gun or machine gun in MTMT, I was like, wow, that is badass. But like, just like, overall, I love Transformers. I love the community. I love people who are willing to listen to me rant and look at my insignias. But sometimes, Felix, sometimes it is just so annoying. And sometimes I need to just take a break from this fandom. And I know that this rant has been going on for a while, but jeez, I just. And then everybody's like, oh, like you just want random non-profit characters to show up. Like, one of the reasons I don't really like TF1, like I love TF1. It is a great movie. It is not as good as the 86 movie. because it's the OG. It will always do it the best. It will always be the movie. But like the whole thing. Like I don't like B-127 or Chromia in that movie, and everybody's like, oh, so you hate autistic people, oh, so you're a misogynist, and I'm like, no, there was plenty of racetrack. Chromia literally just hit him for the sake of hitting him, and they didn't have any beef at all. And what makes it worse is B-127 is literally just Dion. He literally is just Dion. But he just got the Bumblebee head, paint scheme, and name because you know what Bumblebee sells. And look, I don't mind Bumblebee being in a story. I find Bumblebee tolerable at best. But when you have a clear slot for Dion, one of the most essential Transformers ever, and you don't give them the screen they deserve, the love they deserve, I find it disgusting. I find it awful because D16, Megatron, Ariel, and Orion. That's the main four. Bumblebee didn't know Prime till he was a Prime. Dion was there since day one. They are protoform buddies. They have worked in the halls. They have worked on the same station for eons and eons and millions of years together. They are basically the same person. That is how close they are. Bumblebee didn't know who Prime was or who Orion was until well into the war. Dion is more essential to Prime than Bumblebee. I don't care if, oh, but Bumblebee snapped Prime out of being Nemesis Prime. So could have Dion. Because you know why? Dion's his old friend. Dion is a friend he saw back in the old days. Before all of this war bullshit happened. Before all of this crap went down and everything went down to fucking shit. So, seeing his best friend alive would probably snap something in his head and get him out of that mind control shit that happened in the fifth Bayverse film. Because that is how much Dion means to Prime. That's how much Dion is to Prime. Dion is Prime's man. Dion is Prime's ride or die. Not Bumblebee, not Megatron, Dion. Alita is his lover and his co-worker. Dion is his main man, his ride or die bro, his buddy in arms. Not Bumblebee. Now I'm gonna stop before I physically rip someone in two.